everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Tina Berger, your host today, Director of Talent Development for Florida Makes, and I'm showing my face and waving, but I'm going to go off camera as we present so that we don't have any distractions. So thank you for joining today. This is part of the Florida Makes Talent Development webinar series. And as I said, I'm going to be the web moderator today. We have a very timely topic today, the disability workforce inclusion, the hidden talent pipeline for manufacturing. And we're thrilled to have this presentation done by our partners at the Able Trust Network and employU. October is recognized as Manufacturing Month and also National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So we thought it was pretty obvious, and what a great opportunity to celebrate both with this presentation. It will highlight the importance of exposing youth with disabilities to work-based training and job shadowing opportunities. And it's really important for manufacturers to understand the importance and the opportunity to foster these relationships of this hidden talent pool and to understand the broad definition of disability. So I want to thank our two partners today. I'm going to start off with a little bit of information about Florida Makes for those of you who do not know about Florida Makes. Our mission is to, we are a member of the MEP National Network. MEP is the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and it is a program within the U.S. Department of Commerce and the National Institute of Standards and Technology, otherwise known as NIST. And it's our mission to assist small and medium-sized manufacturers, providing them resources to help them grow and prosper by partnering and working through the Regional Manufacturing Association Network, who you see off on the right-hand side of your screen. And our website is floridamakes.com. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but all kinds of information about how we help manufacturers in the state is available here. Just as we work through the regional manufacturing associations, we do have our business advisors who are very experienced in the manufacturing sector, and they are embedded within the regional manufacturing associations throughout the state and work directly one-on-one with businesses. Again, sometimes it's to help them find out training grants, sometimes it's how to get an ISO certification. Whatever it is, our business advisors help them find answers to the questions. So should you need any help with the conversation we're having today, I welcome you to speak with them, and they can help you navigate through this or other challenges that as a manufacturer you might be having. And all of this information, again, is on our website. So today, it's my pleasure to introduce our two partners. Able Trust is an organization that was created by the state legislature in 1990 as the Florida Endowment for Vocational Rehabilitation, as a direct supporter of vocational rehabilitation efforts to the state's agencies and community organizations. The Able Trust organization has helped put thousands of individuals with disabilities to work and has supported employment-related efforts in all counties of Florida. It is a B2B, business-to-business, peer-to-peer program for business leaders committed to diversity and inclusion. And this network supports businesses that want to educate, empower, and employ Floridians with disabilities and foster that business-to-business learning and best practices. Also joining today, employU is an employment service provider for vocational rehabilitation customers. It was founded in 2012, and employU has grown to be the largest service provider of its kind in the state, serving individuals with disabilities in all walks of life, from high school through career opportunities to adults who are ready to enter or re-enter the workforce. And they offer a full range of services to tailor to each individual's experience. So our two presenters today, Allison Chase with the Able Trust. For over 25 years, her career is centered on public policy and programming for employment of people with disabilities. In her role, she oversees business and external partner engagement, working with business and government leaders who are dedicated to a diverse and inclusive workforce for all of Florida. She's also responsible for the youth programs of the Able Trust, including the highly recognized and successful high school high-tech program. The youth programs concentrate on providing ongoing leadership direction, career development, and career guidance for young people with disabilities. In the manufacturing sector, we're always looking at ways to engage with youth and career seekers. And so we're thrilled to have you here today, Allison. And then Keith Borkney will follow up. We had a change of speakers at the last minute. So Keith is joining us today as the Executive Director of employU. Born and raised in Buffalo, New York, he came down here to Orlando in 2001. In his first 10 years in Florida, he ran a private business. And in 2010, he became introduced to vocational rehabilitation, the state-funded program. And over the next couple of years, Keith ended up hiring several people who were referred to his organization and soon realized the appreciation and loyalty the participants had for the opportunity to work with the company. And once he understood that need of employment support, he really decided to open up employU. And so we welcome you today. And this is a nonprofit employment service. So thank you both for coming in today. I want to remind all the participants today, thank you again for joining. You are in listen-only mode, and we are recording this webinar, and it will be available within the next few days and on our YouTube channel. We encourage you throughout the presentations to go to the chat room and enter any questions that you have as they come up, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation as time allows. And there are going to be a few polls, so we want to ask you to respond as quickly as you can to the polls as they come up. So thank you again for joining. And Allison, I'm going to turn the presentation over to you now.
Thank you, Tina. Let me see if did you give me control of the mouse?
I did.
Okay. Well,
I'll try again.
Okay, thank you.
There you go, sorry.
Oh. No, it's not working.
I see your cursor.
Okay, yeah.
There you go, down on the bottom on the right.
Okay, here we go. All right, so I just wanted to we always encourage audiences when we do webinars to tweet about what you're hearing, to go out and comment. So here's the information. If you're interested in doing that, we really encourage you to do that and using the hashtag #EmployingAbilities. So before I get started today, I just want to say thank you, first of all, to Florida Makes and to Tina especially for this opportunity. We're really excited to be able to be here today and to talk with you about the needs that you all have as businesses here in Florida and how we might be able to work with you to help you with some of your hiring needs. So I'm trying to advance and I'm not, can you see my cursor again? Okay. Here we go. There we go. So Tina's already told you about the Able Trust, so I won't go through that again. And before I get started, James, if you could go ahead and launch our first poll. So the question for today is, when I hear about disability workforce inclusion in the manufacturing industry, it makes me, so select one of these: curious, I want to learn more; cautiously optimistic, I want to try it but don't know how; nervous, I'm not sure how it would work; or not interested, I already have too much to do. So James, I'll just let you launch the results when you feel they're ready. Okay, so I need to move my screen. Oh, wow, I am so surprised and very elated. We have 100% curious. I want to learn more. All right, James, thank you. So if you leave here today only remembering one thing that I say, I want it to be this, that hiring a person with a disability isn't about charity. It's about making a good business decision. So listen, we understand that you have a job to do, and we want to help you accomplish that job. So what we're here today is to introduce you to a little known and underutilized talent pool here in Florida of people with disabilities, and one that we know will help you do your job and meet your bottom line goals. So we're all aware that our country and our state is currently in an economic crisis, one of the biggest ones that we've ever experienced in history. And most of us are just really trying to keep our doors open and keep our heads above water. So oftentimes people think, why are you even talking to me about trying something new? You know, I really need to just be able to keep my eye on the prize, keep the doors open, and keep focused. And you all said, no, that's not the case. I'm 100% interested in learning more about disability workforce inclusion. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the major benefits that you can recognize as a business and help you avoid some of the headaches that I know that some of you are experiencing. If you're advertising jobs, if you're in the process of recovery and bringing people on into your organization, we've got so many people here in Florida that are currently unemployed and looking for work, that trying to navigate through that process as an employer and finding talented people to bring onto your workforce is really complicated. So we want to help you with that process. And I'm going to start out today giving you a few facts that help demonstrate a strong business case for hiring people with disabilities, regardless of the economic climate that we're in. And then I'm going to turn it over to Keith Berkney, who Tina introduced, who's going to give you an inside look at an innovative manufacturing workforce training program that's specifically for people with disabilities. And in his presentation, you're going to hear directly from Florida manufacturers who've realized the benefits of including people with disabilities within their workforce. So this past summer, the Able Trust, the organization that I work for, did a survey of business leaders in Florida, and we had over 600 respondents who represent business owners, business managers, HR staff in all industries across Florida. And we had businesses represented that employ over 500 people in their shop and in under 10 people in their shop. And the purpose of the survey was to get a pulse of what's happening in Florida with regard to disability workforce inclusion. And 96% of the respondents said that they are placing as much or more emphasis on hiring people with disabilities than they did before the pandemic. So the question really is why? And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So these are some of the bottom line benefits that came out of a report done by Accenture in 2008. And they surveyed businesses and HR managers that include people in their workforce and compared them to businesses that do not intentionally include people with disabilities in their workforce. And these were some of the findings: that businesses that do include people with disabilities in their workforce have 28% higher revenues, they have double net income, and they also realize 20% higher profit margins than their colleagues and peers in the business world who do not intentionally include people with disabilities in their workforce. So another really exciting finding from that report was that they estimate that there are 10.7 million people with disabilities in the United States who are currently able and willing to work, but are not working. So that's not exciting, that's kind of disappointing. However, the finding that Accenture made that is exciting is that if just 1% of that talent pool became employed, we as a country would have an injection of 25 billion in gross domestic product annually. So I know that none of you can say that that's not a good thing. And can you imagine how much greater that would be if it was greater than 1%? So to bring it a little bit closer to home, it's estimated that 1 in 4 Floridians has a disability. So I'd be willing, that's 25%. And that's probably, for me, when I found that out, I was a little bit shocked because I didn't realize it was that high. And I'd be willing to bet that most of you already have employees on your staff that have a disability, and you may not even know it. So over half of that 25% of people are living with what's called an invisible disability. So something, you know, a lot of us have a conception of what a person with a disability looks like. We see a lot of images in the media of people in wheelchairs or people who are blind using their white cane. But what's beneath that is people who you can't see their disability. And some of those disabilities include things like dyslexia, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and even autism, which is a big part of the population that Keith's group serves that he's going to talk to you about later today. So research also shows that consumers want to do businesses with companies whose workforce reflects the diversity of their own community. They want to be able to buy from businesses who reflect the people that are around them and reflect their families, and that they feel better about spending money when people with disabilities are included in the workforce. So one of the biggest objections we often hear from employers, and particularly from employers in fields like manufacturing, is concerns about safety and accommodations. So I know that in manufacturing, you all are governed by safety rules and regulations at the federal level, at the state level. So that is one of the reasons why we have programs like the one that Keith is going to talk to you about with employU. And for lack of a better term, it's really a try it before you buy it kind of scenario, so that you can bring an individual with a disability into your workforce without actually making a hiring decision first. Provide them with the opportunity to try out what it's like to work in the manufacturing industry, and for your current workforce to try out what it's like to have somebody with a disability working among them. The other great benefit of the programs like what Keith is going to talk to you about today is that they cover workers' compensation and liability insurance while the person is doing a job shadowing or internship in your business. So that's not an expense that you have to take on until you actually make a hiring decision. Another issue that many employers worry about is accommodations, the cost of accommodations that's going to have on their business. When the reality is that nearly 60% of job accommodations cost nothing, and the remaining 40% average less than $500 per worker. And a lot of workers don't even need any accommodations. They operate just like you and I on the job as a regular worker. Another benefit is that there are federal tax credits and state programs that help to cover the cost of accommodations and hiring expenses. Oh, I went too far, sorry. Oh, sorry about this, technical difficulties. Okay, so finally, before I hand it over to Keith, really, I wanted to talk to you about what's beyond the numbers. There are business benefits that go outside of the data and the bottom line and the money. And really what you have to do is look to your current workforce. So we know that people with disabilities bring innovation to the workplace, because many of them dealing with a disability on a day-to-day basis, they become really good problem solvers because they have to learn how to navigate the world that's not always inclusive and accommodating, and most people with disabilities have been able to come up with creative ways to be able to live and function in normal life and on the job. So one of the things that this helps to build is critical thinking skills, which we know is one of the top skills that Florida businesses report that they need. Workers with disabilities have also been shown to have a lower turnover rate, and they have great loyalty to their employers. In the business survey that I was telling you about earlier, 75% of the respondents said that not only are their current employees comfortable working alongside people with disabilities, they want a workforce that includes disabled workers. So I have just one final comment before I hand it over to Keith. I heard a quote the other day about disability workforce inclusion that was from a Microsoft executive. She said that it's important for us to recognize that proximity breeds understanding. And what she meant by this is the more that we're around others who are different than us, the better we understand their capabilities, their strengths, and their abilities to contribute to our workforce. So now I'm really glad to turn it over to Keith, who's going to really actually demonstrate some of those benefits through the program that he serves.
Thank you very much, Allison. We are grateful for this opportunity to talk to you all about what this program is about, and hopefully I can get you guys as excited as we are about working in the manufacturing industry with what we do. Before we start, James, if you could pull up a poll for us. It's the question is, what is your organization doing to attract talent in manufacturing? So our options here are creating internship programs, partnering with colleagues and colleges and technical schools, offering more robust pay and benefit packages, and the last one is we don't have any specific programs to address the talent recruiting. So if you guys could select one of those, we'll see what people are doing. And in the meantime, should I have the mouse control now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So we got 40% saying they're creating internship programs, which is awesome. That's a good amount. Partnering with colleges and technical schools is the most popular one. And then nobody's saying they're offering more robust pay or benefit packages, or nobody doesn't have a program. So that's great. Everybody has something going on. So that's awesome. All right. Move to the next slide here. It's not letting me move over quite yet. Somebody else's mouse still showing, so I don't think I have it yet. Oh, there we go. I think. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about us, a little background. We're a nonprofit employment service. Our mission is to empower customers with the knowledge, connections, and confidence required to embark on a new sustainable career. So we are a vendor of the state of Florida's vocational rehabilitation. We also partner with the Agency for Persons with Disabilities and then also the American Dream Employment Network, all of those agencies to help people with disabilities with employment. We try to set ourselves up as a one-stop shop. So there's quite a few services that we have, including adult employment services. So we've got about 1,200 adults across the state that we're working with to help them with permanent employment. And then we have our youth program, which we have about the same amount of participants throughout the whole state. We're in 44 different counties, so we have lots of people working with us. But we have the youth program, and then we also do classes, lots of training to teach people about becoming employability skills. And then we have a variety of assessments that we do, really designed to try to help somebody determine what their career goal might be. But all of our services, everything we do is to try to help establish and achieve independence through a lifelong career. So it's all about trying to get people into the direction of a career versus any type of job hopping. So as I mentioned, we're in, it's over 40 counties, 44 I believe it is now. And we are the largest nonprofit employment service of our type. I'm going to show a video here that we put together that it showcases the manufacturing project that we established in Brevard County. And this is hopefully going to kind of paint the picture a little bit about what this looks like. Seems like the sound is not coming through. James, are you able to help us out with the sound at all?
Yeah, Tina, you have to unmute yourself when the video's playing.
Okay, sure.
employU is really excited to have launched our pilot program in Brevard County that focuses on manufacturing. We've worked with some amazing manufacturers.
We went into business in 2011, and over the years, we've grown substantially, and we are primarily in the high-end custom cable harness business.
What we do here is we make American muscle car parts from 1953 up to the current 80s. It's a unique niche. We're the largest in the country, and we make everything by hand, and we process it, box it, sell it, and ship it.
This company has a very innovative product. What we do is we make composite preforms. What we do is we take fiberglass reinforcements and cast them into shape with expanding foams. So what this becomes is kind of a Lego building block system for composites.
They were not only eager to learn, great workers, came in with a great attitude every day, but they did.
Maybe we should go past the video here. Unfortunately, sometimes you get these technical issues, as we're all in this virtual world here. I think what I'll do is just continue on. We'll email this presentation out to everybody with a link to the video, and then you can view it on your own time. But nice thing about it is that, and I hope a lot of you watch it, because it does it have some testimonials from the people that are in the businesses that were hosting the students, and then also it's got the students talking. It's got a lot of all the different partners in there talking about what their experience was like with the project. But I'll move.
I think it just came back.
Okay. Seems to be spinning on my side still.
Okay, I guess so, Keith, sorry.
It's okay. It's not your fault. It's technology. Okay. Let me try to move to the next screen here. Okay. So the kind of give you an idea of where the students are coming from here. These are all students local to your community between the ages of 14 and 21, and they have an IEP or a 504 plan in their school. So 14 to 21 is the qualification for the program with vocational rehabilitation. Every business does have, their, has their comfort level as far as what ages they want to take on, and that's fine. But they, could potentially be coming into that program. A lot of businesses will say, maybe they want to go 17 or 18 to start, but once they get their comfort level a little better with it, then they're more willing to try 16-year-olds as well, or 15. But anyway, so it's 14 to 21 is an IEP or 504 plan. If you're not sure what that means, it's a customized education plan in their school. So a customized education plan may mean that they're getting a little extra time on tests, or maybe they're able to take tests in a separate room. They could be sitting in the front of the class, or maybe they get more breaks than other students. It's just some kind of accommodation in a school give them common ground based on what their disability may be. So approximately 14% of all the students in public schools have an IEP or 504 plan. So that's thousands of students in the state of Florida. Most of them, unfortunately, don't know about this program, but usually when they do know about it, they want to be involved. So we do a lot of outreach to get out to schools, get out the programs where these students are at, try to educate about it. And when we have businesses in an area that are interested and are a great fit, we'll often even go to those schools to try to increase participation. On-the-job trainings are what this whole program is all about. And what that means is that it provides a work experience for students that are looking for career exploration. And we'll go into what the OJT means a little more. But many students in industry programs, they've completed multiple on-the-job training experiences in addition to classroom training. So we're also doing 20-hour sessions to teach them how to interview, how to act on work sites, how to present themselves professionally, how to apply to jobs, all those kinds of things as well. So they're learning all of those skills. And at the same time, we're getting to know them, get to know their personality. And that way we can try to make sure that we're pairing these OJT, the students, with the business appropriately. So getting to know the business as well as the participants is key to our success so that we're giving you a great fit. Students are voluntarily signed up to participate in this career exploration opportunity with voc rehab. And that's important to understand. Nobody's forcing them to do this. This isn't part of their school curriculum. This is something that they've gone through a pretty good process in order to get back to us. So this is all voluntary. These are students that are motivated to work and they're interested in finding out what type of opportunities are out there. Our goal is to build their soft and hard skills through classroom preparation and on-the-job training opportunities. So we're developing them as to teach them again, the soft skills like responsibility, getting up and getting to work, being on time, clocking in, clocking out, like a lot of those soft skills that develop through experience, and we really quite often see a 180 with a lot of them. It's really impressive. And then also giving them some real skills that they can put on a resume that's going to make them more marketable once they get out and ready for permanent employment. We also want to teach them about the diverse opportunities that are out there under the manufacturing umbrella. So most students honestly don't know what manufacturing jobs look like. So what this allows is it gives them exposure to the manufacturing industry and what the different employment opportunities are out there and what kind of companies and atmospheres and what kind of people are out in the industry. Because working with manufacturing, we realized how amazing the opportunities are, and we've met so many great people. This is a matter now of giving them the exposure so that they may pick this as a career as they go through their, once they start getting ready for that. Hassani was actually in our video. We wanted to tell you a little more about him. He came into the program in May of 2019 with the interest in construction. And it was the summer before his senior year. He interviewed with a manufacturer that was near his stepfather's auto shop. He then did 2 OJTs with that manufacturer. And these students do multiple OJTs throughout the time with us. They usually last about 6 to 8 weeks at a time. But he completed, first he completed a 20-hour work readiness training class with us. And then we also have a different class called a self-advocacy class, where we teach them how to advocate for themselves and how to be more independent. And then he did 2 more OJTs with another manufacturer, one last OJT in retail to kind of get a taste of what that looked like. And then shortly after graduating from high school, Hassani went to the first place he worked and did his OJT, applied for a job there, and then he got hired. So this is a really great success story. It's what we're looking for. What we're hoping for is, like I said, to really get give them the exposure to the industry, and also get the manufacturers a chance to get to know them as well. And the end goal here is definitely permanent employment, starting a career. It doesn't always happen in the beginning because they're looking for multiple opportunities. It's all about career exploration, but once they're done, once they're out of school, then our hope is that they'll pick manufacturing. Okay. There we go. So Crystal from ComSys, she's the VP of Operations. Her testimonial on this, she said a hard thing with manufacturing is that there's a lack of interest in the younger generation for trade. So when you have someone like Hassani, who all he wants to do is work with his hands and build things, these are the types of students you really want to grab onto and foster and train. We couldn't thank employU enough for the opportunity and for bringing Hassani to us. employU, now that I am a part of it, it is a no-brainer for any business to take advantage of. It helps us, it helps the students, and it helps our local economy. So the video, if once you watch it, it does have some really great testimonials from not just the students, but also from the employers, where they get to talk about the experience. You can see it firsthand from your peers of how it went. So before I move on to the next, I want to go to our final poll. James, could you please bring up that poll? And this one is, what do you feel is the biggest obstacles to grow manufacturing in Florida? You could select one, being attracting talent, absenteeism, employee retention, or the misconceptions about manufacturing. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle to grow manufacturing? Curious to see what this one is. All right, so it's split between attracting talent and misconceptions about manufacturing. And that's actually really on point for what I would think it would be, and on point for what we hear from the manufacturers that we work with. Attracting talent has been difficult for sure in the manufacturing industry over the last at least few years, where we've heard from some manufacturers that they're just not getting applications, and they're just not being able to attract the right people. And then misconceptions, certainly we hear that as well. Sometimes we've even had parents that were a little on the fence when we recommended manufacturing for the student, where they were saying, that doesn't really, they just didn't know what that was, and there's kind of a negative connotation about what types of work were going to be in manufacturing. But then it happened, and we let the student come in, or they let the student come in and work. And we actually had a few parents actually apply for jobs that the manufacturers had, because once they learned how much they paid and what the skills they're actually getting and what their day looked like, it really changed a lot of minds. So that's not surprising what those answers were. So go back to the presentation. So a little bit about how you could become involved in this. First, I want to let you know the way this works, on-the-job training works. They're generally going to be about 4 to 6 weeks in duration at a time. And in that time frame, they're going to be learning a specific skill. It can be sometimes it's not exactly a job description. Maybe they're assisting somebody that is doing a particular job, or maybe they're doing part of a normal job. It's whatever it is to try to give them a specific skill and learning a task. And then after that 4 to 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it is, they will then move to another one sometimes they do work in the same business to do a second experience. Sometimes they go to another company. Sometimes they try a different industry. It depends on what that individual's interests are. So we pay the wages, employU does. The state of Florida is reimbursing us for what we pay, so that's pretty amazing. The business has actually no financial participation commitment to this program whatsoever, and neither do the participants. So the students don't pay anything either. So we become the employer of record. We take care of all of that side. We actually also cover the liability insurance. So we have a general liability coverage that will provide a certificate of insurance to each employer, showing them as the certificate holder. And then the state of Florida, they are actually picking up the workman's comp. So there's no liability on the employer side. If there is any type of injury or any type of workplace issue that happens, then they have a wallet card that has the phone number of what to call. You also have information as well, but they just call there, and they can call the workman's comp and make a claim right away. So the liability and the financial burden are all taken off the employer. The employers build a pipeline of skilled employees, so businesses can evaluate clients for current and future talent pool of employment opportunities without any cost or risk. So this is giving you exposure to the youth, to more people, so they can kind of see what this industry is like, what these jobs are like. And then also from word of mouth, we found, they'll tell their friends as well. So you get exposure to a pool of people that you normally wouldn't get. Students are getting hands-on, in-depth experience, which is so valuable. A lot of people tell us this is something that, it's more valuable than we can learn in college, coming away with a real skill trade experience. And participants often earn industry-specific certifications. So in this project, we'll often try to have some type of certification that goes along with it, especially when we're working like a summer project. So the students become obviously much more available in the summer, and during the school year, it's a weekend and evening type thing. But during the summer, they will get like an OSHA 10 certification taken care of, where they'll participate in that maybe in the middle during a little break, or we've done CPR. And also we're constantly looking at different industry certifications for the students to see what would be a good fit. So this also reduced training costs while increasing labor force. So once the client completes an on-the-job training, an OJT, the business may extend a job offer to the student if that's what they're looking for, and if that's what the business is interested in, then it happens. We definitely get students that become permanent employees. And the potential to reduce training expenses by hiring clients that have already completed OJT. So the idea is that you can get them some training, and they have an idea of what they're doing before you actually hire them and start taking them on your own payroll. So we've done projects in both manufacturing and construction over the last few years. Brick was our first construction project that was out there in Brevard County, where we partnered with Home Builders and Contractors Association of Brevard, the HBCA. We had 11 host businesses where 52 OJTs were completed. So students some of them did multiple OJTs, but 52 experiences that resulted in 2,989.36 hours worked. Each student averaged 110.71 hours, earning a combined total of 32,883. That's 59%. Of the clients also received at least one certification. So that was basically the first project that gained a lot of publicity. It got a lot of people to be interested, and we were able to duplicate it in some other areas. Manufacturing in Brevard County came soon after, the next year actually, where we partnered with VR, and we had 3 host businesses to start it. We usually do kind of start smaller when we start a new area, but there were 15 OJTs that were completed. Each client averaged 155.5 hours at each job site, and earned approximately $1,711. Now, after that first year, more businesses have become partners, and also we were able to get a few adult clients that we had that were interested in manufacturing to also become permanently hired in that project. So that was amazing. And then we started a Jacksonville construction project just last year, where we partnered with Northeast Florida Builders Association. Started small there too, with 3 host businesses. We had 8 clients complete a longer OJT. So they kind of did like a 3-month one, and each client averaged 120 hours at each job site and earned approximately $1,320. 63% of those clients became OSHA 10 certified, which was pretty awesome. And then most clients were invited back for the following summer, and we had one of them actually permanently hired. So we've kind of found a formula here with these special projects. The nice thing about having something that's industry specific is that we can bring these to the students as more of a tangible type idea versus just getting a job. It's, you know, exploring manufacturing or exploring construction, and we're able to pull more interest from students that are actually wanting this type of work. So I'm going to hand it back to Allison at this time, so she could take it from there.
Thanks, Keith. So yeah, I want to make sure that we leave time for questions, but I also, before we get to that section, I wanted to make sure that you knew how to get in touch with us and that you knew about the opportunities that we have for you to learn more about disability workforce inclusion. So the Able Trust that I work for, we are not a direct service provider. We consider ourselves kind of the connective tissue between lots of different systems, which include businesses, one of our primary partners and audiences, organizations like Keith and employU, and Florida Makes, which represents the business community, obviously, and state agencies like vocational rehabilitation that Keith has talked about today. One of our biggest initiatives that we are really promoting right now is the ABLE Network. And ABLE Network stands for a Business Leadership Exchange Network. We're trying to create this on a statewide basis where we can connect businesses who already have a commitment to disability workforce inclusion, which most of you have already indicated that you're in that category. We're also trying to find businesses that are curious about it and want to learn more from other businesses. So the ABLE Network truly is a B2B, peer-to-peer business networking organization. And our role in that is to make the connections and to provide resources and other types of support. We do regular webinars, we do pieces like you can see here on your screen, the hidden talent pipeline of people with disabilities. This was an article that we wrote in conjunction with Florida Makes and also Monin, one of your member manufacturers over in the Clearwater area. So we're constantly trying to find ways to support what you all are doing as businesses and manufacturers here in Florida, and support your interest and help you explore how it might work for your own business to bring in people with disabilities. So the snapshot that's on your screen is from the ablenetwork.org, which is a website that's dedicated strictly to businesses who are interested in disability workforce inclusion. And I invite you to go there and learn more about it and find out how you can get connected with us. Also, you obviously can get connected with Keith and his group. They cover a very large part of Florida and obviously have a lot of expertise in preparing young people to go into the manufacturing industry. And that's one of the most important connections that you'll have at your disposal. So I really thank you all for this opportunity, and I'm going to turn it back over to Tina to let us know if there are any questions that we can field.
All right, thank you so much, both of you. What a great informative webinar. And I want to thank you for the great work that you're doing for our noble citizens. And one of the reasons I was very interested in also presenting this is because I have a daughter who has a learning disability, and she did have what they called an IEP in high school, individual education plan. But I am also proud to say that some dyslexia, etc. She is a data processing manager for a very large company and earns more money than any of us in the family. So I want everybody to really understand that that label is a legal label. It's not necessarily, as Allison has said, a statement of ability, because it is not. And so I just really thank you for doing this. So go ahead, please. We have a few minutes left. Put some questions in. I have, what do you recommend as first steps to get started in my local area? Allison, I think that would go to you.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing that I recommend is before going external is to have an internal conversation. Talk with your managers, talk with your HR staff, talk with your frontline workers about how bringing a person with a disability into your shop would work for you all. I think that that's going to be one of your best resources and also one of the best ways to develop any questions that you might have. I also think it's great to get connected with other manufacturers who have had experience in hiring people with disabilities. And obviously there's a lot of manufacturers who are already on board with this and having some great success. And either Keith or I or Tina can help you get connected to those individuals, you know, just to have that one-on-one conversation and learn how it's worked for them, learn from their success. And also there are challenges. I mean, there's challenges to everything. There's challenges to every hiring experience. So why not go ahead and learn from somebody that's gone through it? So obviously, you know, be in touch with us, in touch with Keith's shop, in touch with the Able Trust. And also think about the jobs and the positions that you have that might be appropriate. And I caution you when I say that is to remember what I said earlier about not all disabilities being visible or even physical. And many people with disabilities operate just like you and me. And like Tina has said, you know, in her personal experience with her daughter, she's making more money and being extremely productive and more productive than some of us. So that's really awesome. And that's a great testimony. So I think that, you know, the way to get started is just to be curious and start asking questions.
All right, we have another great question here. What are the qualifications of the people who go out and help employers set up the jobs before the people you are getting jobs for? And do they have industry experience?
All right, I'm going to let Keith take that one.
Sure. So yeah, all of our staff do have experience in education in a couple of different areas. One, working with persons with disabilities. Many of them have gone to school for that, but most all of them have a pretty good amount of experience when they actually come to us. Actually, vocational rehabilitation, even background, they screen our employees to require a certain level of experience, helping people with disabilities with employment based on their education. And then they're also level 2 background screened as well. But finding job opportunities for our students and for our adults is what their main job is. So they are constantly coming out and looking at businesses. One, we're always looking for the right people. That's the match that really makes it work, is finding people that are open-minded and willing to try. Not everybody's a great fit, and we understand that, and that's okay. But you know, we're out there constantly talking to employers to find out the people that are willing and interested to take a look and explore this. And then from there, they're looking at the different types of jobs that you guys have, like the different type of work, the tasks, what departments, what are the people doing. So when they're out there looking at those tasks, they're thinking in their mind, I have somebody, this would be a great position for, Billy. He would be a great fit for this. He has that type of skill. So they get to know our students really well. And, they know them on a personal level because they're, like I said, they're spending at least 20 hours with them, and plus a whole lot more when they're doing their job developing and just kind of learning about them. So they're going to try to match that up perfectly with you, the employer. And in that video, one of the things that some of the employers did say is that that's really what they felt made this work, is that we brought them students and people that were a good fit for them and what they do. So that's definitely really important. And yeah, all of our staff are very skilled. I feel really confident in saying that. And they're also very passionate about what they do. And they really care about our students and making sure that these are great experiences for all the people involved.
And Keith, we have a few minutes left. I believe one of your customers is on, Crystal Jacoby. Since we couldn't watch the video, I wondered if James could unmute Crystal and she might just share a little bit about the experience from the employer standpoint.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so we linked up with employU, and I want to say that was 2 years ago now, I think.
And your company is?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm with Comsys Inc. and Structural Composites.
Okay.
Structural Composites is more of a Department of Defense, so we didn't actually utilize any interns there, but we did have several at Comsys, one of which was Hassani, who is actually out on the production floor right now building product. So yeah, we definitely had a great experience with employU and have continued to grow the relationship. We absolutely intend to get back with them this next school year and get everyone set up. Trying to think, we had I want to say there was 3 people in the office, or it may have been 2 twin sisters in the office and 3 or 4 on the production floor. Ryan, Glenna, and the staff at employU made it painless for us, which obviously it's nice when it doesn't require our time. Free. I mean, let's not forget that.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
You know, it was a no-brainer. You know, it's good to give back, and the thing is, you're basically a little bit of time to kind of grow people, and you know, so we took it a step further here, and you know, a lot of the students had never been to a job interview, filled out an application, and things like that. So we went through the entire exercise. We made it less of an internship feel for them and more of a, now this is your job and this is the expectation. But yeah, it was a really neat experience to see them grow throughout the duration of their internship. I believe they were 6 weeks, the ones that we did. But they have a job coach that'll come and check on them weekly. They'll call if there's an issue. You know, we had an issue with one student. He wasn't taking to the environment too well, so I just had to make a phone call, and Glenna and Ryan were also texting. Like it was painless. There's really, I don't see why every organization can't have at least one intern. You know, and then the output you get from the students, you know, made it.
Every kid needs an opportunity, you know. Keith, how long does that process typically take of, you've got employers identified, you have students identified, of connecting them and getting them actually into the intern working part of it?
So we generally have a conversation with the business and talk more about it. Then if that sounds like something that they are interested in getting involved, we do have a memorandum that we'll send over. And then, you know, however long that takes for it to get signed and go through all the people that need to see it, sometimes that can be. But once that is signed, then, you know, we'll actually come out and start bringing students to interview. The employer gets every right of acceptance or denial for all the students. It's not something that you have to do with every single one that we present. Like I said, we want to make sure it's the right fit. That's the most important part. So, you know, you'll meet them, you'll interview the person, and, you know, from there, if we want to take it further, then we do what's called a planning agreement that outlines what the experience is going to look like, how many hours a week, which is based on the business as well as the student, as far as what their availability is and what they can do. We don't want to take them out of school or or hurt them at school there at all. We don't want to hurt their grades. So some of them have more participation available than others, but anyway, we'll make a plan, and then once we have that plan started, then we start the whole process, and our coaches will be there in the beginning all the time for at least the first day or so, and then they start backing out as the comfort level of the student is there. So yeah, it can happen pretty quick.
Well, we're at the bell is tolling, but thank you for all of that. And I just want to do one more clarification before we wrap up, is that once they begin, the students are employed directly through you. The employers do not have to be involved in that process at all, except to report hours. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, the employees, the students, they actually have a time card or punch clock on their phone, so they can just punch in and out on their phone. You don't really even have to track the hours. Basically, our coaches will be in contact with you to let them know, and you'll know what a schedule looks like, so they'll be coming in on a regular basis.
All right.
Yeah, can I add one thing real quick?
Sure.
It really was, when I say it was painless for us as the employer, it really was painless. I did not do much of anything to get the program going. It was a couple webinars. I had to understand what we were getting into. We didn't have this, this set up before. But yeah, it was super easy. Everyone in employU really does all the work. You don't have to do anything. So that's
Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Crystal, because we all know how important that is. So here's information. We will follow up with all of you and get you information. This webinar will be posted on the Florida Makes YouTube channel. And I want to thank both Allison and Keith particularly for stepping in at the last minute in sharing this great information with us. And please keep up the work that you do, and we will certainly continue to share this information through our Florida Makes network, our regional manufacturing associations. And we have a few more upcoming webinars if you're interested. And we have the virtual manufacturing tours that are going on our Manufacturing Month Hub. It's all changed this month because we're doing everything virtual. There is an upcoming Manufacturing Central Florida RMA webinar on managing risk and supply chain exposure. And on November 3rd, we also have a live demo. We have a new platform for supply chain called Connex, and we will be doing a live demo. The importance of that is in times of business disruption. What if your suppliers go out of business? What if it's a hurricane, etc.? And we are building this platform to help all manufacturers in the state of Florida or throughout the nation connect with each other through our NIST MEP network. So again, thank you all for joining us today. And you can certainly send any other questions that you have to info@Florida Makes, and wishing you all a great day and continued good health.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
Thanks.